Today is Friday, June 2nd. I'm at one of my favorite parks again. It's around noon. I brought some lunch and something to drink, which I'll share with you, and some projects to show you. Some are works in progress. Some, let's see, at least one is a finished project. And for this video, I plan to just chat while you crochet. I may pick up my crochet hook and crochet after a while, but I've been finding lately that I really like the YouTube videos where the crochet ladies chat about whatever miscellaneous, about crochet, about stuff going on in their lives, and I like to crochet while watching those. Yeah, you know, something you can listen, and occasionally they'll hold something up to look at, and you know, that's not a problem. Whereas if it's you know, if I'm watching a movie or something where you really want to pay attention so you can follow the storyline, that's a little harder to crochet to. So I've been enjoying lots of YouTube videos like that, so that's what I would like to do today. So get a project, get something to drink, and yeah, let's just visit and talk crochet and life and stuff like that. Okay, so I am going to give this a try. This is LaCroix. It says sparkling water with coconut naturally essenced. And I bought it because I thought it sounded good, but I do not like it by itself. It tastes like I'm drinking suntan lotion. What's that one brand? Banana Boat suntan lotion, coconut scented. But I don't want them to go to waste. I don't even know if I could find somebody who likes it. So I picked up some sun-kissed pineapple, zero sugar, singles to go. So I'm gonna pour this in one of these and see if, I forgot my straw. The straw's in the car. See if it makes it drinkable. One of these is for a 16-ounce bottle of drinking water, of bottled water, but this really needs some help, so I'm going to put all of it in there. See if I can make myself a little kind of pina colada flavored water. And I don't have anything to stir with, but I do have an aluminum crochet rack. So that's what I'm going to stir with. Ooh. It's bubbling. If I don't like this, I do have my water in my water bottles that I put my crochet stickers on. I have some napkins here in my lunch. wind off. All right, taste test. I suppose it's doable. We'll see if I keep picking it up to take more sips. For me, that's a sure sign that I like something, because I keep picking it up to take more sips, or if I end up reaching for my water. We'll see what happens there. My lunch is Taco Bell. I'm not really hungry right now, but I'm at the other end of town now, and I wanted to get going, and I didn't want to take the time to throw something together at home. So I've really been looking forward to making this video today. I finished another MooMoo. I love how it came out. What I ended up doing to make the yoke more roomy for me was I ended up, so it had the seams for the sleeves all the way around. Well, I didn't do it at the very top because it's a little bit gathered, but they had just the regular stitch line, and then the raw edges were serged. So I the wind is picking up. So I, what's it called? I used my seam ripper, and I removed the main seam and left the serge, the raw serged edge serged. That gave me a 1/4 of an inch here, and a 1/4 of an inch on the back of the sleeve, and a 1/4 of an inch here, and a 1/4 of an inch on the back of the sleeve there. So I'm thinking that gave me another inch, which seemed like enough. I ended up closing up the underarms. I talked about this MooMoo in another video, but I reinforced the serged edge so that it's a secure seam. Yeah, and it's working out. I really hope the breeze is not causing a problem. So I'm under a covered picnic area, and last time I was under a covered picnic area, but I was facing, I was at an edge table facing toward the, the middle of the covered picnic area. Now I'm at an edge table, but I have my back to the middle, and so like right now my hand is in the sun. Now my hand's in the shade, so hopefully there's more light coming. Okay, so yeah, so a new MooMoo. I have on my Aran Lane Bags yarn hank earrings on because my hair's pulled up. And I thought, oh, let me put on my little earrings. I don't know if you can see those. So got those on. Got one of my headbands from Dollar Tree. And I came up with a trick. So this headband does not have teeth. So I have one with teeth, a little plastic one with teeth under it, and I slid the plastic one with teeth under this. You can slide it through the bottom of this knot strap thing, and so it works great. So I'm really happy about that. Went to Dollar Tree yesterday, and one of the things I picked up was this little mini trash can for my drink holder. I use this for, I've needed one of these for a long time. And I decided to get one. It's great for receipts, straw wrappers, yarn snips, cough drop wrappers, just perfect. So I put that in my whoops, in my drink holder. I have 2 drink holders, so my drink goes in one and this goes in the other. Another reason I love these water bottles, these smaller ones, is that they fit in my drink holder. So I need to come up with a better system here. Gosh, I hope the wind is not causing a problem. Okay, I kind of made notes of what I wanted to talk about. Oops, this is coming out. Are they both okay? Yeah. And I have a couple stories I plan to tell today. Okay, so the next thing, my youngest son, he's 21, and his girlfriend, soon to be fiance, is 21. They together purchased a travel trailer, a used little travel trailer. And they're fixing it up. There was, so it has a metal chassis, but then wood framing, and some of it had water damage, so my son has been repairing that. And his girlfriend has been painting and sewing curtains, and they're going with a boho theme. So their colors are white and like kind of an aloe vera green, or like a eucalyptus green, you know, kind of like that bluish green that's popular. So they don't know it yet, but I made them a little home away from home housewarming gift. But I haven't given it to them yet because I want to show it to you guys. It's a little wall hanging. It's about, you know, that big. I designed it basically myself. The leaf pattern, I went on Pinterest and I searched boho crochet wall hanging, and I was about to, because I was looking for like a leaf motif like this, and I was about to give up. But you know, we say, oh, I'm gonna stop scrolling, but we keep scrolling for a little while. So it was in that kind of, you know, time period when I knew I needed to quit scrolling, but I didn't want to yet. And I came across on Pinterest, and it was in a different language. It looked like Japanese or Chinese, the language, but it was a graph paper with this pattern, but it had more leaves, like it was much taller. And I looked for, you know, a link to Etsy to buy the pattern, or, you know, some way to purchase the rights to use it. Couldn't find anything, so I screenshotted it and I copied. So I'm going to set this down and show you. I have a notebook, a graph paper notebook, and I copied the image. You know, just the larger grids are 10 by 10. So I just took my time and counted over and put a little X where the color would be, and decided, at first I was gonna, you know, just maybe not do these leaves. At first I wanted to do the whole thing, and then I thought, oh, it's too long. And I thought, oh, it's still a little big, because it's a little travel trailer. It's so cute. So I ended up just doing the top 5 leaves. It's single crochet. I used, this is, oh, I don't have it, it's at home. Do I have the, I don't know if I have the label. Oh darn. It might be Lion Brand Hometown, although it's not a bulky. And I recently looked up Lion Brand Hometown to make sure I was referencing the correct yarn for another thing I did. And Hometown was coming up as a chunky weight. So I'm not sure, but it's a ecru color, beige off-white with speckles, lots of speckles. And then the green is Dollar Tree Premier Just Yarn in Meadow. So it's a subtle color combination. The stick at the top is a chopstick from a Chinese restaurant. I've had this chopstick forever. In fact, the mate to this chopstick is what's holding my camera up. But I hand sewed around like this, and then I did a staple gun on either end to keep the chopstick from sliding out. There's a single string that goes through, and then I single crocheted around the string. And the fringe was like, the pieces of yarn were about, I don't know, 6 inches, you know, twice the length. And then I pulled it through and looped it around, and that's how I got the fringe. So I'll be giving this to them today because now I've shown it. Oh, and that reminds me. So I had mentioned doing a post on all of the Christmas crocheting that I'm going to be doing. I've decided to not do a whole post showing everything. I've decided to sneak a thing in the middle of a video here and there, because my kids don't watch my channel as far as I know, and they're less likely to see the gifts I'm making for them if I kind of sneak one in here and there in the middle of a video. So that's my hope. Okay, so on to the first 2 Christmas gifts. So I have 4 daughters and 2 sons, and a sister and a granddaughter. So that's 8 females. Oh, and then the gal that I drive to the grocery store, I'll be crocheting something for her, but I don't know what. She watches my videos, so it'll be a surprise. That I won't show because I know she watches my videos. But anyway, so let's see. Why did well, just the reason, okay, so I'm in the process of making my 2 sons' girlfriends gifts. So they're works in progress, and there's going to be, here, let me see if I can hide some of these yarn tails just so you can get a better idea of what it'll look like when it's done. It's a crossbody purse. Okay, to give you a perspective of the size of this purse, you know, it's just enough for a phone, keys, wallet, little wallet, lip balm. And then I made the tassels. I learned how to make the tassels from the NICU graduation cap tutorial. She shows you how to make tassels, so I just used the same method from that. The strap, I came up with the strap. Let me turn it around this way. So what I did here, oh, and the yarn I'm using is Kobu by Lion Brand. Lion Brand? Yeah. So it's worked back and forth this way. That way I didn't have to predetermine the length of the strap. I could just kind of eyeball it as I went. And the strap goes all the way around. So the edges of each, this is the Victorian lattice square that I showed recently. So the edges of each square are stitched to the sides of the strap. It's nice and secure. But what I did is I chained 4, then I did a single crochet in the first stitch. In the next stitch, I did a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. And then in the last stitch, so the third stitch, I did a single crochet. And then I chained 1 and turned and just repeated that. Okay, so wait. So now that I have my first kind of little mini shell, the second row was after I chained 1 and turned, single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in the chain 3 space, and then single crochet in the last stitch. So that was the repeat row. And it just gave this little delicate, I just love this so much better than just single crochet back and forth. I just think it just kind of mirrors, you know, the look of, because you get these little kind of fan things there. So that's what that is. Okay, so I am going to line them because these holes are pretty big. And I mentioned before I'm going to use Osnaburg. So I got a remnant of Osnaburg. I think this cost me $3. I've washed and dried it. I need to press it because the edges are really wrinkled. This particular Osnaburg, well, let me show you here. Some Osnaburg is really speckledy with little brown specks. But this is not quite as speckledy, but I don't know if you can see where. I don't know if you can see that. Hide my face. Anyway, I love the feel of this. It's an all natural material. I'm using my phone to film, or I would Google it to get kind of more information on Osnaburg, O-S-N-A-B-U-R-G. It makes a great doll body fabric. It would dye really well if you wanted to dye it a darker brown and get a wide variety of skin tones. Because it is a natural fiber, it would dye really well. But so I will be lining these. Okay, and the other one, exactly the same, but a different color. So this one, this is the first one I just showed you, Kobu Tan. That's this one. This one is Kobu Beige. I don't know if you got a good look at that. But I think the lining will work for both purses. I might tea dye the lining for the darker one. You just get black tea bags and boil it, boil, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 maybe in a saucepan of water. Let them steep and let that water get nice and dark brown, and then, you know, I would cut off the amount that I'm going to use for this person, let it soak in there, and that might make it a little darker. I'll probably do a test swatch first. So that's the plan there. Now in terms of a closure at the top, there's a variety of things I could do with that. Very interesting. Oh, and I want to show you the darker one. I used a G hook, but when I went to make the lighter one, I did not even realize till I was almost done that I used an F hook. So look at the size difference. One hook size, and it made it, you know, not a ton smaller, but definitely smaller. And I'm glad I used the same hook for both squares, front and back. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so closure. In my opinion, the best closure would be a zipper inside. And I'm thinking about that. Another option, I don't want it to be like bulky up here. Another option would be a purse snap inside the middle top. Or I just don't know. This just doesn't really lend itself to putting a button here and then having a thing come over. So yeah, haven't gotten that far, but that's where those stand. So those are works in progress. Looking at my notes, another work in progress is, should I wait to show this? Because this is another Christmas present. I think I'll show it. I don't think this daughter for sure watches my videos. So my oldest daughter, this is for my oldest daughter, and it is going to be a backpack. So I'm going to continue up, working in the inside. I did a second layer, 2 strands held together, and I stitched it in there because it was just too thin and not strong enough. So I'm doing, actually I'm doing 2 strands held together. I guess that's, I didn't hold 2 strands together for the bottom, but I started 2 on the sides, and that's why the bottom felt too flimsy to be sturdy and durable. And I am using, I didn't think I would color control, but I turned out I decided to color control. I got 2 mandala cakes. Same colorway, but they were, so the colorway is Warlock. It's just regular mandala. This is a sample. So there's a couple shades of green, a few shades of green, kind of a mustardy yellow, a couple shades of brownish reds. There's some more of the mustardy yellow. Here's another. This is all of this is from these 2 cakes. Even this, there's a couple shades of, do I have them here? I'd have left them at home. A couple shades of taupe and beige. So the way these came, I ordered them online. I didn't buy them in the store. So the way they came was, and I was excited at first. So cakes, when you look at them, you know, when you're looking at all the colors, these came where the opposite colors, like one had, you know, the blues and the green, not blue, but like teal and green in the middle and worked out to maybe the gold. And the other one had the beige and the tan and the gold, the blue, teal and that. It was opposite. I've gotten lost here, but it was opposite. So they weren't mirror cakes. The colors that were on the inside on one were on the outside on the other. So I thought, oh, well, because this is a 3-weight, and for a backpack, you need at least a 4-weight. I'm holding 2 strands together to make it durable. So I thought, okay, maybe I should, because I like to pull from the center. So I thought, well, maybe I could, you know, pull from the center of each and it would be kind of mottled, you know, M-O-T-T-L-E, mottled, you know, which is kind of what's happening, but there was so much of this taupe and beige that I felt like way too much of the backpack. This is the inside of the bottom. I crocheted a rectangle and stitched it to the inside of the bottom, just for sturdiness, like I said. There was just so much that I wanted more color going on, striping around the backpack. I'm using the same pattern I used for my granddaughter's hot pink striped backpack with the little kawaii star amigurumi like tassel things. I'll link it's interesting because the pattern for this backpack, and I'll link it, is for a little mini backpack like that. But you can size it up however, whatever size you want, because it starts out, you make the bottom rectangle first. You work it this way. This is how you start. So you chain however deep, or, you know, however deep you want the backpack to stick out from your back. And then you keep going back and forth until it's as wide as you want the backpack. And then you just work in the round without increasing at your corners. You do not increase at your corners. And then it goes up like this. So I'll keep going up. But, okay, so this daughter that I'm making this for loves fairies, woodland, mushrooms, you know, just fantasy, fairy, magical forest, you know, mushrooms and little fireflies and, you know, just all that. So she, because she was here, she came about a month after my mom passed away. She came down and she saw the backpack that I made for my grandbaby, the hot pink one, and the little star. She was, oh, can you make me a backpack and put little mushrooms instead of stars? I'm like, sure, you know, so I'm thinking Christmas. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to embellish. I'm going to do some surface stitching with some magical kind of colors from Lion Brand Landscapes. this colorway is Desert Spring. So I'll do, I'm gonna try and do kind of a forest floor scene sort of or something, or mushrooms or something. But then I wanna put at least one pocket on the outside. And I thought, wouldn't it be cute if I made the, you know, like, or maybe like a couple pockets that were mushroom shaped. And then the, you know, like the flap of the pocket is the top of the mushroom. That's my goal. We'll see what happens. I need to be careful not to spend too much time on each gift because I do have 9 gifts that I want to complete by Christmas. Here's some more of this roving style brightly colored yarn. I use knee-high nylons to protect my yarns, especially partially used skeins. This is Sunrise in Unforgettable. Whoever makes Unforgettable. Red Heart? I don't have the label. And then deeper in, the little nylon holder thing is, they call this Peacock. This is either Unforgettable or Landscapes. Landscapes is by Lion Brand, and I believe Unforgettable is by Red Heart. But they're all just very similar types of yarns. So these will be the embellishments. So much fun. So that's the plan there. I just kind of stuff it in there. Okay. Talk about that. Okay, so a couple stories. Where are we? We're at 37 minutes. Okay. First off, I want to start with so the last couple days and today, I've been, I hope the wind isn't messing up the microphone. I've been worried about something in my personal life. It's just this nagging worry that I keep trying to let go of because it's something that is completely out of my control, but it's something that I want to go a certain way, and there's no way I can make it go that way. And it may go that way, it may not, I don't know. But it's like this worry that I have that I'm struggling to stop worrying about it and just give it to God, because that's whose hands this issue is in. And so I've been kind of down, not kind of, but more than kind of down since Wednesday. And yeah, well, I won't know how it worked out until tomorrow and beyond. And I keep pleading with the Lord to help me let go of what I want to happen, and to fill me with that childlike trust that He wants us to have in Him. Not childish, but childlike, meaning, you know, when we were kids, we didn't worry as much because we just didn't know to worry, you know, like we hadn't learned how to worry yet, for the most part, you know. I mean, we just figured, you know, the adults would take care of things, hopefully, in most situations. But yeah, so I was like, I don't want to be feeling like this when I film this video, because I've been planning to make this video all week. I wanted to finish the wall hanging, and I wanted to get the crossbody bags, you know, to the point where now they're ready for lining, and you know, I wanted to get my MooMoo done and everything. So I've been planning to make this video today all week, but then this thing came up Wednesday that is nagging on me, and I'm just worried about it, and I don't want to worry about it. Yeah, so anyway, so I thought, well, I want to give the wall hanging to my son and his girlfriend today, but I want to show it. So I'm like, I'm going to film the video. I'm just going to go. And the reason I've been filming at the park, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. Let me make a note and I'll get to that in a second. I'll finish the other thought. So I thought, okay, well, even though I'm feeling down, I'm going to do this. And maybe it'll make me feel better, you know, to talk to my friends. And it has. At least for now. Maybe I'll start worrying about the thing again, but I do feel good now. So I thank you for watching and being there and giving me a reason to post and share. So I thank you for that. Okay, so so back to, I got a couple stories I want to tell, but let me explain why I've been filming at the park. So my desk that I was filming at has become kind of a, you know, I've just been plopping stuff there because I don't know. I need to organize. I just need to clean it off. It's become kind of a junk collection place. It's a new workspace. I'm learning that, you know, it's something that I need to make the mental effort to maintain order so that I will be able to just jump over there and film. So I've been coming to the park just because I can lay everything out on the picnic table and everything. So that's on my to-do list, is to organize my work desk later today, because it's only midday right now. Okay, story number 1. I don't know if you could see that. This is a burr that is common in my area. It's a little ball of spikes. I don't know if you can see that. A little ball of spikes. And you can pull it apart. I don't know if this will do it. It might need to be moist to do it. This one's not really going to do it, but it's actually a string of spikes that are in a spiral. So when they're moist, you can pull the top and the bottom out and it'll unwind and become like a string of spikes. Like it's kind of starting there. I don't know if you can see that. These things stick to, oh, look at here. Well, it broke because it's really dry. These things stick to everything, socks, blankets, clothes. I mean, just. When my third daughter was like 1.5 years at the most, she didn't have like a ton of words, But she was saying nose, 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 right? And I'm sure you can figure out what the story is about. Nose, nose. But I wasn't catching on to what I thought she was just saying, I learned a new word, nose, nose, you know. Didn't realize what was going on. So at the time where we lived, there was an outdoor covered patio. And it came off the den, and the den was originally the attached garage to the house. I don't live in this house anymore. It was where we lived at the time. So the patio was on a slight slope because the driveway was kind of angled so that water would run away from the building. And I'm not sure explaining about the slope really matters, but anyway, under the covered patio, we had a like a comfy, cushy kind of overstuffed kind of love seat was one of the pieces of furniture. And I sat on the love seat and laid her on it to change her diaper. Well, at the end of the patio, we had roll down blinds, like outdoor roll down blinds. And they hung from it's kind of interesting because now let's pretend this is the edge of the patio overhang. They hung from there on hooks from nails. So there was a little gap between the top of the roll down blinds and the edge of the overhang. So I laid her down, was changing her diaper, and this, you know, part of the patio faced south. The sun, there was a shaft of sunlight that shined or shone right across her nostrils. And it shined sunlight right up her nose. So while I'm changing her diaper and looking at her and talking to her, the sun, this little sliver of sunshine and sunlight shined right up her nostrils. And I saw there was something in her nose. So I'm like, what? Look, yes. She had stuffed one of these. It was still in the ball form up her nose. We tried to get her to blow it out, but she was too young to know how to blow, especially hard enough to do that. I've noticed I have not taken another sip of this. I don't know. Maybe over ice. Ugh, I don't like it. So we took her to the pediatrician. Me, my mom, the nurse, we all held her legs and arms up like this, flat on the table. And the pediatrician had a light and a long, you know, tool, and he pulled it out. And it you know, it was one of these little burrs that I just showed you. And she hated that, you know, of course, anyone would. But we got it out. There was no blood or anything. I asked the pediatrician, you know, why would she do that? And he said, well, if her nose is itchy, you know, she might have pushed it up there because her nose was itchy and she was trying to scratch the inside of her nose. And this particular child had allergies. Still does. I mean, she had allergies from childhood. Just, yeah. So like, oh, okay, so we get home, and I'm thinking, wow, that little teeny sliver of sunlight shined right up her nostril for me to see that. And she had been going, it had been a couple days that she'd been going around saying nose, nose. So this happened within a couple days of her putting that in her nose. And, you know, I knew it was divine intervention. These are tender mercies. This is how God watches over us. And all we have to do is notice it, recognize it, acknowledge it, and of course, give thanks for it. So we get home. We're in the kitchen, and the kitchen has a back door that leads out onto the back stoop where all the trash barrels were. We had a recycling barrel, a regular trash, and then a yard waste trash. Where I live, you get 3 barrels to separate these things out. And I'm at the sink, and she's over by the back door, and I had just happened to look at her right when she was about to stick another one in her nose. I just happened to look. And I said, oh, no, 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 no. Don't put that in your nose. Don't put those in your nose. And she didn't put it in her nose. But, I mean, that's another divine intervention. Something prompted me to look at her right when she was about to put another one in her nose. Someone just walked by. So, right in this very moment, I am realizing that, so when I got here just a little bit ago, before I started filming, I put all my stuff down, then I went over to the bathroom, got that taken care of before I was starting to film. And I was walking through the grass, and that very burr, no, it wasn't that very one, it was another one, got in my sandal. And then I remembered that story. And I thought, oh, I want to tell that story in the video. But the Lord is answering my prayers the last couple days to help me feel calm about this worry that I have. And the fact that one of those burrs got stuck in my sandal was what I believe was his way of reminding me he's got it. He's got this. He's got me. He's got you. He's got us all. He loves us. He's in the details of our lives. I know it. And I can rest assured that things will work out far better than even I could work them out. So on my way back from the bathroom, I'm like, oh, I want to find, and they're not hard to find this time of year, but so I found one to share in the story. So yeah, I am feeling better about the thing that I'm worried about. I'm sorry, I'm not giving details on it. I'm just not comfortable with that, but I hope you'll understand. So another story, the other story I want to share is an experience I had when I was a teenager. My father sent me on a 1-month trip to Europe. It was with a American Youth. I don't remember the name of the organization, but it was me, 9 other teenagers, and an adult. She was in her late 20s, which at the time seemed old, but I'm realizing, oh my gosh. We made it because we toured all over Europe for a month on trains. We didn't have a vehicle. Trains, buses, walking. Yeah. I'll never forget that trip. It was amazing. So we landed in, it was summer of 1980. We landed in Luxembourg. I hope I'm remembering this correct. We landed in Luxembourg, which is an itty bitty little country, I believe, because we got Eurail passes, Europe Railway, like Eurail passes, train passes, where you can just get on any train, you know, like you pay a certain, and it's a pass to get on the train anywhere in Europe. but you couldn't use it in the country you landed in, because we flew from New York to Luxembourg. But you could use the Euro pass in any European country except the country that you arrived in for some strange reason. So that's why we landed in Luxembourg. Immediately left Luxembourg and went to Belgium that same day. So Belgium was the first country we visited. Then we went up to Holland. Then we went down to Switzerland through Germany. And I have never spent a daylight hour in Germany. We rode the train at night, and this is one way we saved money, was the trains had sleeper cars, and we slept on the train. We were supposed to stay in youth hostels, and we did stay in youth hostels sometimes, but our guide had us sleep on the trains a lot. Yeah, things kind of went weird at the end of that visit. Not too weird, but anyway. But we stopped in Cologne, Germany, in the middle of the night, and the train station in Cologne is by a river, and I just remember this stone archway that we were standing in the train station, looking up the river at Cologne, like at the main part of Cologne, and it was nighttime, and the lights were reflecting off the water. Oh, it was just beautiful. Then we got back on the train, or the connecting train or whatever, and continued on that night to Switzerland. So we're in Switzerland. Amazing. It's like walking into a storybook. We were in Grindelwald, Switzerland. Isn't Grindelwald the name of that bad character in Fantastic Beasts? Yeah. Anyway, the Swiss Alps, just amazing. From Switzerland, we went to Italy, and we went to Rome, Florence, Venice, some little towns in between. Well, when we were in Rome, which I'm trying to remember how many days. I don't remember how many days we stayed in Rome, but the day that we went to go look at the Colosseum and whatever else is there that you look at, you know, I was 16. So anyway, you have to take a city bus right through the heart of Rome to get to the Colosseum, but then what was that other, it was on the outskirts kind of. Anyway, on the way there, so it was in Italy, everything closes down from 1:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon. And so it was right when everyone was getting off for that afternoon break, siesta break. So it was just, it looked like Wall Street. I mean, it was just shoulder to shoulder, men in suits, mostly men in suits, and people like warming between, you know, back and forth. Blah, blah, blah. It was just packed with people. And there was this woman, young woman, all in purple silk, and she was weaving through the crowds, and I just remember like going, she stood out, you know, in this sea of black and gray suits, and then this woman in purple silk, you know, winding through. And then we went and did our tour, sightseeing and that. Then it was my job that particular evening to guard. So we had all our backpacks in the train station, and it was my job to sit with the backpacks while, so we took turns planning dinner for the group. So the two kids whose turn it was to obtain dinner for the group left to go get supplies for dinner, and I sat with the backpacks up. I was sitting on the floor of the train station in Rome, leaning against a pillar, and all the backpacks were around me. So it's 11 backpacks. And I noticed not far from me, 20 feet to my right, is that girl, that young woman in purple satin or purple silk, and there was a man harassing her. So she looks around and she sees me, and she comes and sits right next to me. In Italy, especially in the bigger cities, I believe, I believe it's more important in the bigger cities. Maybe it's equally important in small towns. We were told that females need to not go anywhere alone. They need to be with another female or with a male, and like preferably locking elbows or holding hands or something. There's that bluebird. Oh, I'll have to tell you about the bluebird. This is going over an hour. It's a western bluebird. Oh, I bet you it's the same one. Last week, let's see, I came here Saturday, but I wasn't ready to film because I didn't really have anything to show. And it was pretty cold out. But this bluebird right here, I'm not far from where I parked on Saturday when I came to this park. He was around. And there he is again. Let me see if I can show you. I'll quickly turn the camera if he comes back. Oh, sorry. So she sits down next to me, and the man leaves. And I thought, oh, she sat next to me for safety. That guy was harassing her. And we sat and talked, and I didn't know Italian, but a lot of people in Europe seem to know enough English to have a basic conversation. I think it's like a big requirement in school to learn. That was the bluebird. He has a little bit of a red chest, but he's small. It's not a blue jay. It's definitely not a blue jay or a scrub jay. I know what those look like. They're much bigger. But he has a really vivid, smooth blue head, back, wings, and then a soft kind of brick red, little bit of a chest there. And he flies up, and then he goes down to the grass. Then he flies up, like on the fence or the tree branch, and then goes back down to the grass. But he just kind of flew. I don't know where he went. Sorry. Where was I? So yeah, so I was asking, I would ask her questions. I mean, I asked her about her family. Like, are you in high school? Or did you graduate high school or whatever? And she answered a few questions and stuff. And then she eventually left. She wasn't there very long, but she wasn't there very quick either. She left. Okay, so I'm thinking, wow, fast forward 20 years. And I told this story to someone who had spent a couple years in Italy. And they said that she was a gypsy and that the man and her were in cahoots. They made it look like it was what I thought it was when they were actually working together. She was distracting me so he could pick through backpacks and look for stuff. I do not recall any of the fellow travelers saying, hey, this is missing or that's missing, but it explains why she was weaving in and out through that very congested crowd of people in suits. She was a pickpocket. I mean, this person who I met later, who had spent 2 years in Italy, said that's what it was. I mean, there's no question. So yeah, for 20 years I thought, oh wow, how magical, and then I realized, oh, oof. Yeah. But like I said, I never had anything go missing. You know, maybe the man was unsuccessful, because the backpacks were, they weren't all right in front of me. You know, they were around me, but anyway. So yeah, there's that story. I hope I didn't offend anyone by, you know, saying she was a gypsy and that they had nefarious intentions, but that's what it was. So, and this was back in 1980. Yeah. But anyway, I think that's all I want to talk about. We're a little over an hour, so we'll see. I'll have to wait till I get home to upload when I have Wi-Fi. I don't think my data can handle starting to upload now, but I'm going to stick around. I'm going to eat my lunch, do a little bit of journaling, maybe a little bit of crocheting, and the journaling, I'm going to journal, I'm going to do some gratitude journaling. Gratitude, that always lifts my spirit and makes me feel better. And yeah, maybe do a little bit of reading in the 2 books I'm reading. I just read, you know, a couple paragraphs or, you know, a couple pages at a time in here. So turns out I'm still, you know, in the beginning of these. I've read this book. I read this in junior high, The Hobbit. She's a little bit naughty, so we'll see what the lesson is there. It says, bats, cats, and flying brooms. Witchina, a young witch, lives in a barn with her senior witch aunt and hundreds of cats. Night after night, Witchina flies around on her broomstick doing mischievous things, but she is lonely and wishes she had an earthling friend her own age to play with. The problem is that if earthlings discover Witchina is a real witch, she will be turned into an ugly toad. Bats, cats, and her flying broom give Witchina even more problems, and the suspense builds as she enters the contest for resident witch of the amusement park. And the reviews say, an amusing story will be a hit with witch fans everywhere, suspense and danger. I mean, I love Harry Potter. You know, I'm not into witchcraft or anything like that by any means. But I love Halloween. I love the memory that Halloween is for me as a child. You know, just thinking about things that are scary that actually aren't, although people can take things too far, then crime. Anyway, yeah, we'll see about this book. $1.25 back in. This really looks like the kind of book that maybe came from a book fair or Scholastic Book Fair. Camelot Books by Avon Books, 1970. Anyway, and then later today, so when I go home, I have some paperwork I need to fill out. Ugh. Maybe I actually brought it with me. Maybe I'll do some of the paperwork here in this nice setting and clear off my work desk. So thank you for watching and listening and following along, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you got to crochet or knit while watching. And yeah, I will post again when I feel like I have some things to show. And trying to think, it's the beginning of June. Oh yeah, the Jada and Stitches Crochet Along. This morning was the release for the June pattern. I was going to talk about that too. I don't really have anything to show because she just released the pattern, but the motif for June is diamonds, like a row of diamonds. My thought is that's linked to June is kind of traditionally a popular wedding month. So, my process is to take some graph paper and copy the pattern sideways, because her, the way she does it is double crochet from bottom to top, 6 motifs in a row, and you've got bobbins and stuff. But I don't want to work with bobbins, so I'm doing the motif sideways, so the diamonds will be sideways like this, and that way I just have my green skein and my rust skein, and I just go up and I do 6 like this, and then I turn it on its side and connect it to the blanket. But I have to, I don't know, to get a printout of the pattern, you go to Etsy and buy it, or she said, or you can just copy it off the YouTube tutorial. So that's what I'm doing. She doesn't require you to buy a printable version of the pattern, but that's what I do. I just color a piece of graph paper and do it that way. And I'm doing single crochet. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna get going, and I hope that you have a wonderful day or evening and a wonderful weekend coming up, and I will see you next time. Take care.